So we work in the Central African Republic, which is a very war-torn place that's known lots of mutinies and overthrows of the government. And so we started working in trauma healing in 2013 when Margaret Hill came and did a workshop there. And one of the people that was trained was Pastor Clarence there in the picture. And he did 2 more trainings with Larry and me. And then he had a very heavy burden for the people of his area, which had been really very, very badly hit by rebels of different sides. And so when he saw in the IDP camps hundreds of women, both Muslims and Christian women who were victims of sexual assault, he wanted to hold healing groups to help them. And he got the church involved. The church provided a venue and food and everything. He gathered the women together, both Christians and Muslims together, 50 at a time, and did healing groups with them. First, he took them to be tested for HIV, and about a third of them were HIV positive. And he got them help to get started on the medications for that. And so you can see these women, and they all have babies. They named all the baby boys Nathan. So this is a way that the classic one is helping families at risk. Because here, one of the things that happens is the women are rejected by their husbands and they end up in IDP camps, so family at risk. Story-based trauma healing, which also Margaret brought to CAR. We are in the 5th year of story-based trauma healing now in CAR. And I just want to tell a story. Families at risk, this is a healing group, not under a mango tree, but kind of in a courtyard. So when one of the things that causes families to be at risk is domestic abuse, domestic violence. And the story that goes with the domestic abuse is the story of Abigail and David. And when the pastors heard this story, when the facilitator told the story, and they said, "Oh no," they began to weep. "We are like Nabal. We've been just like Nabal." And they confessed and they repented. And God used this to help families at risk because of domestic violence. So then children's trauma healing is another thing that we love to do. And of course, all the children in CAR are at risk. And this is one of the children's camps that we held. And this is one of the activities, the Blind Trust Walk. But I'm going to tell you the story of Aisha. She was fleeing from a rebel group. She and her family were fleeing from a rebel group. And she looked back and saw her father, that there was a rebel aiming a gun right at her, and her father jumped in front of it and took the bullet and died. And they had to just continue fleeing. She ended up in an SOS children's camp in Bangui. And a precious pastor and his wife took her into their home. And when we held the children's camp, they sent her to the children's camp. She's a Muslim girl. And when we had the lesson on, you need to find a safe person to tell your story to, she began to weep and she cried and cried and cried. And so I selected my best woman facilitator. She went out with Aisha and just held her while she cried for a while, and then Aisha told her story. She had never told anybody before what had happened to her. And after that, the next day when she came back to camp, she was a different person. Just a happy, smiling, playing during the children's time. So those are my 3 testimonies of the 3 programs that we work in with. I would say every single family in CAR is at risk, and these programs are helping them. Thank you.